All right, so we are here. My name is Ryan, Mr. R, and I'm with Ashton. And who are we talking about today?
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis. He is an interesting director. Started out really good, made some classic films, kind of petered off at the end.
Yeah.
Pinocchio is awful.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't make you watch some of them. I only made you pick seven that I think were interesting to talk about. Most of them from earlier in his career. So, um, looks like you went with the less picks, but with the more vetoes. So, we're going to come up with one definite list that we both have to be okay with. I think there's going to be a few differences. So, you are picking less so you can have more vetoes uh, on me, so you can get yours higher up on the list. So, the like I said, we're doing seven movies. I pick some from his earlier career, later career, really good ones I don't like as much, just to see what you think of the stuff. So I'm going to start out. I think we got a consensus for number seven. The worst that we picked for this, and it's Polar Express. Do you have any? No?
Polar Express is definitely. I feel like I'm more excited for the live action remake of it because I like the storyline of it, and I think that it's like a cool thing. I think the animation is just too jarring for me.
Yeah, it's got that uncanny valley where it's just kind of weird. Tom Hanks is playing like kids and the conductor and Santa Claus and everything like that.
I think the opening scene, like with the train coming, is like a really cool. I think it's like the best bit of the whole entire movie. I like that feeling that it gave me, but everything else, I just
Yeah. Like in the 2000s, there's a really weird thing going on where they're adapting a lot of 10-page board books and making them 2.5 hours, and none of them really work because there's not that much to it. I know the generations underneath me, a lot of them have a special place for Polar Express, for the Jim Carrey Grinch, but it's like these stories should be 10, 20, 30 minutes tops, and they made like 2 hours out of it. I don't think we need an hour and 40-minute Horton Hears a Who and everything like that. So, yeah, Polar Express goes down as the number seven movie.
okay.
All right, so you are up for six.
I think number 6 is Romancing the Stone.
I agree.
I don't think it's like necessarily. It's not inoffensive. It's not like a bad movie. It's like if it was on, I would be like entertained.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think for this list, I think the other movies are way better. More thought was put into them. It was just like a way better. It just felt like a Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They were just trying to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, so this was one of the first things I saw by Robert Zemeckis because as a small kid, I loved Indiana Jones. I grew up with Indiana Jones. Just give me more of that. And nothing ever had that same sort of feeling because Indiana Jones is like one of one franchise. So I remember I saw Romancing the Stone when I was a little kid. I loved Danny DeVito by then because, I mean, who doesn't love Danny DeVito? And I remember liking it. And I probably saw it last when I was maybe 14, so it's been a while. Watched it again, and it is not timeless. It's very 80s, and I remember it being so much more like adventurous, and it was just kind of boring. I mean, like they it the dating of that movie is what like really was surprising with me because a lot of Zemeckis' movies is timeless, and I even because I watched it with my family yesterday, thinking it'd be fun. And I even said to them, I'm like, I don't understand how the year after this movie, he made Back to the Future, which still works to this day, still feels timeless. And that was such a 1980s, 84 movie. It was PG with nudity. You know, it had a guy getting his arm bitten off and being so petty that he just kept trying to kill this woman for no reason after his hand was bitten off with the jewel. The actual jewel looked like something you get in a board game. It did not look real whatsoever. And Danny DeVito really had nothing to do in the movie. He would just pop up, like grumble a few lines, and then go away. So I wasn't sure if it was going to stand the test of time, and it really didn't. I was kind of sad because I liked that. I liked Jewel of the Nile, which is like the sequel. You know, they're a lot of fun. My younger kid couldn't believe that Michael Douglas is married to Catherine Zeta-Jones now. It's like him. Like he was cool in the 80s. He's been cool for a while, but yeah, there wasn't anything in there that made me look at the director and be like, this guy's going to be huge. But at the time, everybody's like, ooh, that was a good movie. It got him Back to the Future. So, yeah, I am right there with you, with this being number 6. All right, so back to me. I still don't think we're going to have any changes here because I think this is a good middle kind of one. We're getting to the point where they're good now, but there's ones better. And my 5 would be What Lies Beneath.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Lies Beneath, it's a great style over substance movie. Zemeckis was always big into Hitchcock, loved Hitchcock. This is a very Hitchcockian ghost story, but also a story with a lot of stuff going on, true crime, trying to get away with the perfect murder, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I love it. I think it's one of the best, kind of movies like this. It's just, I think there's 4 better on the list.
Yeah. I don't really watch, not really a horror movie, but a thriller. I don't really watch those because I have really bad anxiety and it really messes with me. But I really did enjoy it. And also this is one of the movies that I watched the trailer beforehand, and watching the trailer, you have no idea of how it's going to end.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot, but it really made me hate Ford a lot. At the very end, I did not like him.
And this was, I think, right at the turn of the century, too. I want to say it was 2000, 2001. He might have done this and Castaway the same year, honestly, because Castaway took forever to shoot because they had to stop so Tom Hanks could grow the beard and lose 60 pounds. Yep. When he did Toy Story 2, press, everybody thought he was sick because he lost so much weight, and he's like, no, I'm making a movie. So, yeah, this came out, and it was a movie that they don't make as much anymore, just a star-studded, mid-budget film. These things go to Netflix now or turn into a miniseries, but it had Michelle Pfeiffer in it, and then Harrison Ford, who is still probably one of the biggest actors of the time at this point. I mean, he was Han Solo, he was Jack Ryan, he was Indiana Jones, and it's just a ghost story. Nothing really new about it, but he did so many cool things with the camera in this movie and how he set up, and he did the ghost. And we were talking about the shot where it doesn't look like it cuts, but it goes from above to below the floor, and just stuff like that. It was so cool. The script's probably not the best. Like I said, I've seen the movie 100 times before. If you've seen a ghost movie, you've seen this before. But just the way that he had actors doing the best, and I'm going to give a spoiler for a 25-year-old movie, but Harrison Ford actually plays the villain and does it really well. That's what they didn't really say in the previews. They made it just seem like a ghost story, but it's actually, the ghost is a person that Harrison Ford was having an affair with, one of his students in college. Yeah. And he kills her, and she's trying to warn Michelle Pfeiffer that he's going to do it again. And Harrison Ford's got the hots for Michelle Pfeiffer's daughter, who's his stepdaughter, and he's going to kill her and try to get with the stepdaughter. So he was evil.
He's a weirdo. Movie. I like the. Whenever I was watching the trailer, it seemed more like a horror movie because I thought that the demon, I guess, I don't know, was more abundant, but it was there for 2 parts of the movie. It was barely.
Yeah.
And I like the shots whenever she was almost about to drown in the bathtub. I thought that was really cool. And then I think my favorite shot was she was trying to flee, but she grabbed the wrong key, so she was in the wrong car, and they had it pan on the window, the side window. What was that? What is that even called? I'm dumb.
the rear view mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't drive. And then it opens the door, and then it closes, and you can see him getting up after she thought that he was dead, or at least knocked out. And then I thought, I don't know, I just really thought that shot was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it showed that he, in 2000, he still had it. He could do really cool shots, really cool edits, everything like that. This is when you start seeing him play with those toys and really get into the toys more than the story. And I think that's kind of where his career went off the rails, because then he's just I'm going to find a movie that can make me do these cool things instead of I want to tell this story. And he's still that way today. His last movie here was interesting, but the whole premise was he didn't move the camera. It was in one place, and then like time went around it, and it worked, but it wasn't just the greatest story. So I think this is kind of where that started. All right, so now we're to 4, and this is where I think it's going to get a little bit bumpy because I think ours is going to be a little different. So I'm curious where I'm showing you my thing.
No, wait, that's your already list. I feel like I'm forgetting one of the movies.
All right, so we got 4 left. We got Castaway, Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Okay, yeah.
Forrest Gump, and Back to the Future.
Crap.
So what are you putting?
I know my
for?
top 2.
Yeah.
I'll do Back to the Future.
Oh, I'm vetoing that.
Uh,
So you gotta pick a different one.
then Castaway.
Castaway. God. Okay.
I don't know my top 2 now.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any more vetoes, but that was my top 2. So, okay, Castaway at number 4. Why put this at number 4?
I mean, it wouldn't have gone at number 4.
Yeah, but
okay. I feel like I think that the storyline was really good, and it was like a really good it captured how good of an actor Tom Hanks, how good of an actor he is. But I feel like there's just better movies on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the ending, but because I wanted to know what was in the box, and it really, really ticked me off. I watched this with my dad, and I was like yelling at him like what was in the box. But I think the ending, leaving it up to the viewer, was a really smart idea. I just felt, I don't know, I felt like he could have got off the island. I feel like there was a lot of things that he could have done that would have been smarter, like when he was actually on the island. Because I feel like the 4 years, you feel like he would have built like more of a shelter than like living in the cave. I feel like there's a lot of things that he would have done differently.
Yeah.
Actually watching it.
No, if I was stuck on there, I would never been able to build anything. You give me instructions, YouTube videos, and tools, and I still can't put together a bookshelf.
That's fair.
So I would be living in that cave.
That's fair.
I love Castaway. It's one of my favorite by him. I remember seeing it Christmas time, year 2000. Nobody wanted to go with me. So I went to see it by myself, and I loved it. I went back the next week. Tom Hanks, he won 2 Oscars already, but I would take one of those 2 away and give him to this instead, because I think this is one of the 2 movies I think he should have won it for, didn't win either, because he should also won for Saving Private Ryan. But he is so good in this, and he's got this longing, acceptance, just kind of regret, all of these things he goes through. It's just about this guy that was on a FedEx plane, leaving his fiance on Christmas. Plane crashes, and he ends up on a deserted island, and then you see him struggle the first few weeks. He gets a horrible tooth infection. He can't figure out how to make a fire, stabs himself while trying to make a fire. And then he finally has to, and I probably would have died of infection, because he has to pretty much put an ice skate to his tooth and knock out the tooth with a rock.
That was hard to watch, actually.
Yeah. But then we go, and it's 4 years later, and there's barely any talking because he's by himself. He's lost all this weight. He's got a long beard. Still has the picture of his girlfriend, and we're with him on here when he just goes through his regular day. You find out that he did try to commit suicide, and it wouldn't have worked, and he probably would have been hurt. His only friend's Wilson, the volleyball, who he talks to, because when he cuts himself, he throws the volleyball, and it's got a look like a face on there at that time. So he talks to Wilson, the volleyball, and then we have the next part, which I just love, when he finally escapes on a raft, and the music and the score is just so great, and how good he is as this guy that's just so lonely. When he kind of gets knocked off his raft and Wilson goes away, they just watch the volleyball go away and him screaming and crying for this inanimate object, and you just feel horrible with him. And then he gets back, tries to get with his fiance, and she's moved on because everybody thought he's dead, and he just learns again he has to start his life all over, and it's just so good. And I love it. I've watched it a lot. I never get tired of the movie, even though there's not much dialogue, and I love dialogue. I could just watch this over and over again.
Yeah, I liked all the jokes at the end too, like him having the seafood. He wouldn't want the seafood. Him having the lighter.
Yeah.
All the things that we take for granted to have so easily. He was just like he had to like work really 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 hard for it to get. And also, like you were saying, he lost his fiance whenever he got onto the island. He never thought he would actually like be able to have her again. And then whenever he finally gets off the island, finds out that he actually like lost her again, like it's
Yeah.
all over again, and it hit really hard. It was really
Yeah,
really,
and
really
he
sad
even
to
says
watch.
that. He's like, I lost her once and I lost her all over again. And, you know, you feel bad for her because you do have to move on. She thinks about getting in the car and then she just can't. You know, they start driving away and then she's like, I can't because she's got a little kid with this other guy. And it's really just a powerful movie. So that, if I had my list, that's number 2 on mine. So
I think a lot of the top 4 can be
yeah, the top 4 is
argued.
very good, especially the top 3 for me. But that does bring us to 3, and I'm sure this will be vetoed, but that's where I'd put Forrest Gump.
Yeah, no,
It's being vetoed? Okay.
absolutely not.
Then I will put Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This movie was the first of its kind and still so influential. It was one where it merges human and CG characters better than had ever been done before, because Disney by this time had done a lot. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Pete's Dragon, probably the most famous, Mary Poppins, but they did a thing where they did all of it and then just kind of told like Dick Van Dyke where to look, kind of told Angela Lansbury where to look, and that never looked like they were in the same place. There was no physicality behind it. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they tried to make this movie for about 10 years. Zemeckis, with his mentor, Steven Spielberg, got the rights and started doing it. And the first thing they did is like, we got to figure out how to make this look like it is there. So they had robot arms moving everything. They told Bob Hoskins, who plays Eddie Haskins, where to go. And it was the first one that there was gravity to it. And if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have stuff like Star Wars with Jar Jar Binks or Harry Potter with all of those, Lord of the Rings with Gollum. So this kind of paved the way for all that. And it's just a really fun movie, and you get to see Daffy Duck and Donald, you know, battle each other, and you get to see all your favorite old cartoons. And it kind of got lost to time because it came out before the Disney Renaissance, like the year before, because right after this, Little Mermaid comes out, and then Beauty and the Beast comes out, and then Aladdin comes out, and then Lion King, and we're rolling. And this just was that year before, and it just doesn't have the love that I think it really deserves.
Yeah. Whenever I was younger, do you know Looney Tunes Back in Action?
Yes.
That movie was like the coolest thing to me. So watching this was like a really like nostalgic and like really cool.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I didn't realize that they made so many that were like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like also Roger Rabbit as a character, it might be like my new favorite cartoon character.
Yeah,
he's just
fun.
He's just so lovable.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the take on like making it like a detective type movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was really really smart in how they did it. But my literally only thing I hated about the movie was the very end with the bad guy. I did not like how he looked at the end. It was actually scary.
He's terrifying. I mean, this is a kids movie, but a different kind of kids movie. I've said this many times before. I have seen so many people die on screen. You know, I've watched so many movies. There are 2 that have scarred me more than anything else: Rufio and Hook. But number 1 by a mile is the poor blue shoe that gets thrown into the dip and just disintegrates while crying.
There was like no point.
It
was just.
It was brutal. Yeah, it's like and like I love noir, and this is just a noir movie about who killed the head of Acme, and they think it's Roger Rabbit because he's married to Jessica Rabbit, who's this like hot pinup cartoon, and everybody thinks he does it because he's jealous, and it's just a really like they kind of parody Chinatown and all these old movies, and Bob Hoskins is great noir PI gumshoe kind of guy, and it's just so much fun. You know, it looks great still to this day. That animation is wonderful. So Who Framed Roger Rabbit really, I mean, it was a huge movie at the time, but I just don't feel like it's it has that same place as Beauty and the Beast, where
Yeah.
I think it should have. So if you haven't seen that, check that one out.
Yeah, definitely got overshadowed.
Yes. All right. So 2 is yours. I don't have any more vetoes, so I know what's about to happen.
I wonder what's next. Back to the Future.
Yeah. All right. So why is Back to the Future at 2?
I only had, before watching this, I only had seen like clips and pieces of this movie. I saw the end part like a million times where he like connecting. Yeah, I've seen that scene so many times. It's my dad's favorite movie, one of my dad's favorite movies. So whenever he knew that I wanted to watch it with him, he was very, very excited. And I did really enjoy it. I mean, I understand the jokes, like with him going back in time and then his mom like liking him. It was just really hard to watch. But I think this movie ages like incredibly well.
Oh,
Everything is like shot really, really well, and the storyline is really good. I liked him building up his dad at the very end. Like I liked the ending, and then also whenever he was playing modern music at the time. I thought that was really funny. Everyone just stopped.
You guys aren't ready for this yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought I liked it a lot.
Now, Back to the Future, it's timeless classic to me. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It was my number one on this by like a wide margin, and I love Castaway and I love Rabbit, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's a part of my childhood. I still remember going over to my grandparents' house, and all 4 of their kids bought them the first VCR because they wanted them to watch Back to the Future, because I'm older, so my parents are closer to like my grandparents and my parents were close to that 1950s time, so they wanted to watch it. And there's not a slow part. There's not a scene in this movie that I could cut out. You know, it is one of those perfect movies that I wouldn't touch it. And Michael J. Fox is great. The music in it, like the whole thing with the like his mom when she's older is like, I would never do that with a boy. You know, when I was there, and then you meet her, and she's totally lying because she's trying to hook up with her son, who she doesn't know at the time, on like the first day, is like just pursuing him and everything like that. His dad's a big nerd who is also a pervert.
Yeah.
What happens is he saves his dad from being hit by a car, which is how the parents fell in love. So he starts disappearing, like his older siblings disappear, and he's starting to disappear. So he needs to get them together before he disappears, because they wouldn't exist, because he changed that. And I love time travel stuff. I love the whole trilogy. 2 is also a lot of fun. 3, it's fine. You know, I watched 3 just so I can be a completionist and finish the whole series. But yeah, the end set up with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown doing all the stuff, because they know they need the lightning bolt to get him back to his, the future. And that whole scene is just so well done. Like, I've seen it 100 times, and I always get nervous that they're not going to make it in time. Right now at Universal Studios in Hollywood, their show at night, because that courtyard is still there, and they are doing the last 20 minutes of the movie as like a live show every night. And I would do anything if I could go see that, because I'd love to. So yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and it does hurt a little bit. It's number 2, but so we will move on to number 1, and I think this is your
Forrest
favorite
Gump.
by a wide margin, I'd say.
I wouldn't say by a wide margin,
but pretty good.
I think it's because I don't know. I don't really watch movies, and my parents have quoted this movie so much. And actually watching it, I understand why they love it so much. And I think if anyone asked me what my favorite movie was, I'd definitely say Forrest Gump right now.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of fun watching this movie.
Yeah.
More than I have watching a movie in a long time.
Yeah, it's it was a huge hit the year it came out. It was that and Lion King the year it came out, and both of them played.
Lion King's my favorite Disney movie.
Yeah. They came out within 3 weeks of each other and played the whole summer through. Like, they were still in the top 5 in like September, October. I mean, they just were so big. With Forrest Gump, I've always been one that I love half of it, and the other half I think is just kind of nostalgic wanking,
Yeah.
Because I'm not a baby boomer, so I'm not like, oh, look, it's the Beatles. Oh, look, it's, JFK.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was really fun to watch this stuff, but what really works on me is like, and a lot of people, this is their least favorite part, but like the running scene, I just love that because
that was definitely favorite.
yeah, because I love that part because he's dealing with trying to figure out his relationship with Jenny, and she leaves him again, and he just doesn't know what to do because he's not the smartest guy in the world. So he just runs because he can, and he's just thinking about it. And I love, like, there's so many cheesy jokes in that part too, where like he's the guy that comes up with shit happens and have a nice day, and all those things are so cheesy, but it works. And the parts that I love is just Tom Hanks is Forrest Gump being great. Like, I can watch this and it always choke me up when he meets his son and like can't say the words. Is he dumb like me? He just kind of goes, is he? And then like Jenny has to reassure him that he's not.
Yeah, I asked my dad before watching if it was a comedy, and he said it wasn't. But I feel like it's such a comedy, like has such comedic aspects to it that I really would consider it a comedy.
It's a little bit of everything. I think that's why it was so popular too.
Yeah,
because it's a journey through, like I said at the time, the people that are seeing this, the journey through their childhood and their youth, and they're able to be like, oh yeah, I remember doing these kind of things. I remember this. But yeah, and it's funny. There's a lot of parts that's really, funny. But then it also really tugs at you with some of the other stuff going on. So it's just got a little bit of everything in it. So you were very shocked that you liked this as much as you did?
I don't know. I liked, I think I think it was a really, really smart movie. I liked a lot of the jokes in it, and like Lieutenant Dan, I didn't like at certain points, but then I loved him at the end.
Yeah.
What was the love interest's name?
Jenny.
Jenny.
I
loved her a lot. I liked them how they did like her as like a side plot, like her getting like really, really bad in drugs and whatever, and then like realizing that she actually like loved him. And then I might be dumb, but at the very end, whenever she said that she named it after Forrest, and I did not click with me at the first. I'm like, she got with someone else, and I'm like, wait, I'm just dumb.
Yeah,
I'm actually just dumb.
Yeah, and then like it's sad in the end, but it's still hopeful because he's got a son now, and he's got a lot of money because Lieutenant Dan invested all of his Bubba Gump money into Apple. So he has a lot of money and everything like that. And, it's a great movie, but when it came out, I was 13, and it was just not a cool movie when you're 13. And also, it came out the same year as Pulp Fiction and the same year as Shawshank Redemption, and it won the Oscar over those.
I saw that when I looked at your review.
Yeah, and it's just like, I know it's good, but it's just like, I feel like it was an old-style movie when the new kind of world should have won the Oscar. So it's always been one of those things, like I said, I know it's great and everything, but there's just Back to the Future for me is just a classic.
I don't think I could forgive myself if I didn't put it at one, get it at one, because I had so much fun watching it, and I think that the storyline is done really, really well.
Yeah, I knew we were in trouble because I'm looking at Letterboxd and you rated it 5 stars. I'm like, oh boy, okay, here we go.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Yeah, but it's really funny because you're not the only person that's younger that's really connected with it too. So it's got like this second win that people are like, this is really good, because another teacher, their daughter just watched it, and the teacher texted me saying, she's mad at you because you only gave this 3.5 stars.
I was mad too. I was like 3.5. I thought you were at least give it like a 4.5.
Yeah. And like I said, it's one of those things that it was, and like also if you were alive back then and for like 6 months you just had to listen to like Life is a Box of Chocolates and everybody doing Forrest Gump accents and everything like that. It's just
I can get that.
It kind of got old. It was that, and there's like 3 movies that I feel like got really into popular culture and then you just got sick of it. It was that, Borat with people trying to do my wife, and Do I Make You Horny Baby from Austin Powers. So those are those ones. But, Forrest Gump, it's what he won his Oscar for. Zemeckis has won Best Directing Oscar, and it was for Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks won his 2nd in a row for Forrest Gump. So, it's a big movie. So to recap, our list from worst to best goes Polar Express, Romancing the Stone, What Lies Beneath, Castaway, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future, and Forrest Gump. And what I think we can agree on is 4 through 1. Those are all just great, classic, timeless movies.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, this is fun. Glad you learned some new movies and you found another favorite. All right. Thank you.